Well, let's talk more about this with Tim Vickery. He's our correspondent in Rio de Janeiro. Tim, first of all, what are your initial thoughts on this decision by the French government?
Well, perhaps the surprise here is that it's taken so long to reach such a decision. A number of South American countries have had the frontier with Brazil closed for some time, and it's been clear for at least 2 months. Firstly, that the situation in Brazil is out of control. And secondly, that the Bolsonaro government has no strategy to contain the spread of the virus, and no interest in having a strategy to contain the spread of the virus. The priority of the government is to attempt to keep as much of the economy as possible open. Bolsonaro was applauded last week by an audience of Brazilian businessmen for this very reason. Meanwhile, though, that P1 strain, it clearly transmits more easily, and it also clearly kills younger people who also would seem to need more time in hospital beds, putting extra strain on the system. So the death toll at the moment is around an average of 3,000 a day, and vaccination is not happening with sufficient speed to slow that down. That death toll is going to stay very high for the foreseeable future.
And Tim, I suppose then this decision by France, just another example of how the Bolsonaro government is coming under huge pressure over the way it's responded to COVID-19.
Well, not from those businessmen last week, but certainly there is political pressure mounting on the way the government has handled this pandemic. Over the next couple of days, we will see if in Brazil's Congress, a commission of inquiry will be opened to look at the government's handling of the coronavirus pandemic. The government is spending a lot of its political capital trying to prevent this commission of inquiry. It will look under the rock, and what it will find will not look good for Bolsonaro. You may remember, Nadia, on March the 22nd last year, Bolsonaro predicted that the overall death toll would not even reach 800 in Brazil. And as recently as 11th of December, he said that the coronavirus pandemic was right at the end in Brazil. It seemed that right up to that point, the government had its faith in a herd immunity strategy. We know now that the only protection from herd immunity is mass vaccination. For placing its faith in herd immunity, the government last year rejected huge offers of vaccines from Pfizer that would have done a great deal to slow the spread of the virus. So the Bolsonaro government now is fighting behind the scenes to stop the establishment of this commission of inquiry, which will unearth some very dangerous truths for Brazil's president.
Tim Vickery for us there in Rio de Janeiro. Thank you very much indeed.